Shoot, no.
Right away? Or
Yeah, hold on.
Welcome to Hermit Woods, where there's a story in every bottle.
Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
New Hampshire we stand, pint in hand.
Cheers to everybody.
I wonder if anyone out there knows where we are just by that tagline.
Does anybody know?
I did post it as the description.
Oh, you posted
did you post
it?
If they read it.
Well, let's see if they know.
Let's see if they can hear us. That's
Can
important.
they hear us? Yeah, ask if everybody can hear us.
Can everyone hear us all right? Excellent.
All right.
Got
Yeah,
several
be
people
back.
So
on.
here we are. It's another Monday. We've been around the world, and we're back.
Well, a little bit of it.
Well, a third of it.
Yeah.
And back.
Is that our topic next week? Do we have a topic already for next week?
No.
Your takeaways from your travels?
Yeah, maybe. That sounds like a good
Yeah, we
topic.
could do that.
We could talk
We
about
might
it.
have some videos ready by then.
Yeah, I will, for sure.
But that's next week.
For sure. We got a lot to cover.
So,
Oh,
hi,
we do.
everybody. It's,
We do. Somebody knows.
so what's that?
Christine knows. Well done.
Knows
Yes,
where
very good.
Yes,
Cheers.
right.
Well done, Christine.
Wow, she knows the tagline. here.
Either she read the description or she's been here before. It's
So-
a great place. I've been here a couple times before. It's a big spot right in Manchester or outside of Manchester.
Yeah, we're just south of
They have a
Manchester.
nice. You can kind of see a good portion of the
So,
bar behind us, but
and there's a good reason why we picked this, which we'll talk about in a second. But before we do that, Marika, why don't you tell everybody the rules? Not the rules, but the
The rules.
the rules.
The
Well,
rules.
mostly
The
just we're.
parameters.
They
we're-
must be drinking.
They
Well,
must be drinking. There's
Is
a
that
good
one of the
rule.
rules?
Cheers
yes,
to that.
cheers to that, and let us know what
Let
you're
us know
drinking.
what you're drinking.
But also just let us know that you're here. Put a comment in here. We'll feature you and say hi. But always good to know who's on watching. And if you love watching us, then tell your friends and also like and subscribe.
Where do they subscribe?
Depends on where
Looks
they're
like under
watching.
Marika.
If I was gonna say it's right here.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube, right, there's a little button right there that you should click, a little bell. If you're on Facebook, there's a thumbs up somewhere.
No, there's a bell.
There's
actually a
Facebook
bell.
is a bell too?
Yeah,
I thought the bell was
there's a
YouTube.
And it's in the upper right corner.
There you go. So
So
up
it's above
upper-
Marika. There you go.
there.
If you
It's hard. Everything's
subscribe,
backwards.
I don't
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, if you do that,
I
then
don't see it.
you'll
I've
get
been looking up to
notified.
the right.
Of
Do you
course,
see it?
I don't see anything.
see it.
we
See
go.
a list of beers.
All right,
If you
I'm
see
doing
it,
the
let us
thing.
know.
I'm doing the thing.
Oh, okay.
Well,
If
we're
you
trying to
do
direct
click
you.
that
How hard
button,
it
That's
is?
part of how
then
it goes.
He's learning.
See?
then of course we do go live every Monday at 5:30, right at this time.
Exactly on time.
Exactly on time every time. But we also go live at other random spontaneous times from various locations,
Like on top
including
of a mountain.
like on top of a
in
mountain in
France.
Switzerland.
But always a
We did that.
But
That was a
Yeah.
couple days
I was
ago.
at 5:30.
I don't remember.
But then you'll get notified, and
I
so
had a
you can
dream about
know
that.
every time that we are live, and you can
It seems
tune
very
in.
dreamlike.
And of course, you can tune in after the fact. If you miss a broadcast, you can always watch it later on. We post them, and you can share it around. What?
That's awfully generous.
It
I think
is.
you're welcome.
We love if you're here live. That means you can comment and join the conversation, and that's always great.
Absolutely.
Feel free to ask questions. Let us know you're here. Let us know what you're drinking. Let us know if you have any questions as we're going through, and all of that. And I'll be constantly checking in on comments
Great.
when I
see,
can. I'll
I'm-
bring in comments as I can. It's hard to get a word in sometimes with these folks, but when you get carried away.
What
I
kind
see,
of wine
also
are
I
get
see,
words in
wait a
there.
minute, I see, before we go there, let's see, we got Marianne, we got Matt, Priscilla's with
Yep,
us, Christine,
Marianne's here.
all of our favorite
Matt's
fans.
here.
Nice to see you all. Geraldine is
Priscilla,
here. Hey,
Priscilla.
Geraldine, cheers. Can't wait to see you.
Geraldine.
I know, Bob, you haven't seen Geraldine in
No, in a week.
Oh yeah, you haven't been home
And
yet.
what kind of wine are we drinking today?
Mine's got bubbles. It's a bubbly wine-like thing.
Little
It's not
bubbly.
really a wine.
Let's go around. I'm curious.
Beer.
Yeah, I
So-
missed what everyone ordered actually.
I ordered I have to look, an island hopper
Mine is Lawnmower Lager. I think they
Nice.
stole that name from me.
from you.
I've been making that from the
They
90s.
stole it from you. Necronomenquate.
Whoa, what is that?
And
Oh no, we got a Belgian quad. And I've got, The squirrel. It's a sour. Is one of my favorites, but it's
Squirrel sour.
but it's an interesting like. There's some like wintry spices in it, like clove and
Berry,
such.
and they describe it as
Sort of
berry,
Christmassy.
fruit
It's sort of
berry.
Christmassy, yeah.
I
But
like it.
I'm enjoying it.
And most important for this conversation,
Yes.
Ben, what did you choose? Looks like
well,
you chose two.
Well, I had the Belgian double that was really nice.
Okay.
And this is now the Belgian quad, the
Necronomenquate.
numma numma numma.
Phenomena.
So-
And I also have the
Yeah,
Bobcat Hoppy Blonde.
Excellent. You
Wow, that's
are
good.
really getting through
He's
it
a
today.
professional.
He's
you
a
know?
professional.
He's a
So
Which
does
is why
everybody,
we're here.
does
Yeah.
everybody know Ben?
No. So
Oh,
Ben was on.
That's why we're
I know
here.
3 weeks ago.
Oh,
Ben
I
was
have
on.
been on
We
one.
did a
Yeah.
soft opening.
We did a
on
soft
Ben.
introduction to
Yeah.
Ben, which was great to have you on. But today we wanted to talk a little bit about what your background is. You've been with us now for 2 months, 3 months,
Longer. October 4th.
so 3 months.
Coming up on 4.
October, November, December, January. Oh, we're coming up on 4 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Excellent.
Winter
And,
always goes so fast.
I know. So
Oh, I'm not
Yes,
ready.
it goes fast.
I'm not ready for summer.
let's
wait until you hit 60.
Wait till you get older. It goes faster.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's cuckoo bananas. Just the accelerator pedal.
Well, Bob has a theory about that. It's less of a percentage of your total lifespan.
Right. Yeah, that
So
makes
when
sense.
you're young, it's a 10th of your life. over
Yeah.
the year. And
So
now
it's
it's
a
just a
big deal.
60th of your
It
life.
just goes faster.
Yeah.
If you put my wristwatch next to your wristwatch, it would go like
Yeah.
much faster than yours.
Einstein proved what that's all about.
all right. Back to the subject.
Okay.
We're here to talk to Ben.
We'll talk to
Ben, how fast
That's-
is time
Hey,
moving
Ben.
for you these days?
That was on topic. Einstein, me, we're both
Yeah.
intellectuals.
Yeah,
Very
there you
good.
go.
I'll put you up there with Nietzsche.
Yeah.
Or maybe Carl Jung.
So let's tell it, folks at home, what your background is. You started here in New Hampshire, but so why don't you start there?
Yeah. So from New Hampshire,
You were born here, right?
born here, Concord Hospital.
Yep.
And grew up in Northwood, and then high school in Pembroke, and then started my fermentation career in Hooksett at White Birch Brewing.
You've been there.
At their first location, that was a long, skinny industrial area, and then also helped them move to their second location. That was the used car dealership.
What is that,
They
like
were on Route
2011, 2012? What's the timing of that?
3. I left in 2013. So
'Cause it seemed like they
So the-
started about the same
Yeah.
time we started. We were at the
Yeah. They're a
Concord
little ahead of
Co-op.
us, I think.
They-
yeah, it was the 2
Yeah.
to 3 years before that. So I had homebrewed but I left in 2013. So the 2 to 3 years before that was my White Birch.
White Birch thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had done their apprenticeship program, so started out 1 day a week brewing and learning every aspect of the brewery, and then also had my grocery store job at Market Basket. And then after my apprenticeship, part of the apprenticeship was designing a recipe, brewing it, and putting it out there, and then you come out into the fermentation world having your own product as
Oh,
your
cool.
resume.
So what can you tell us what that beer was?
Yeah,
Tell
so
us
that
about that
was
beer.
a summer barley wine. I had started in the winter and got to talking to Bill Herlica, and he was asking me, okay, we got to start thinking about what kind of beer you want to brew, what's one of your favorite styles, and I said barley wines. He loved barley wines, so there was a sort of instant connection. We got really excited about barley wines, and then we realized part of a 6-month apprenticeship starting in December is releasing a beer in June. And so instead of breaking away from brewing a barley wine, I decided to brew a non-traditional barley wine, and instead of deeper, caramely, dark stone fruity flavor profile, kind of went from the dark raisin to a golden raisin. Tried to hit still those sort of dried flavors, but more on the apricot golden raisin side, and summer it up a little, and then threw a ton of Sriracha Ace hops in it to give it a candied lemon sort of flavor. And
So you all learned all this in your apprenticeship.
well, between that and I had homebrewed before, but yes, a lot
So
of
that's
it.
pretty advanced right out of the gate.
Yeah.
So this was like genetic for you. You already had
Yeah.
your head around this stuff.
Right. And at the
He
time,
did say compare himself to Einstein. So.
Yeah,
Well,
he
it's-
did. Yeah.
and so that beer comes out as, you can sort of add it to your resume. Here's my beer.
You still have any of that left for us to try?
I actually found 2 bottles at my mom's house.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you told me about that. When you
She-
moved back,
wow.
she's like, I'm so glad you're back
Yeah,
in New
Mama.
Hampshire. Here.
Yeah, Mom was like, "Oh, welcome back. I have all this old beer that you need to get rid of for me." I was like, "Well, what do you have in here?" Oh my gosh, an Allagash Triple from 2011, an Allagash Black from 2009.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, and a barley wine, those are good.
Oh,
That's something that should age
Yeah.
as long as it was stored well. Do you think she
Yeah,
started it?
10 years,
but it's been a long time.
10 years.
It may not be stored perfectly either.
I mean,
You
it's
never
been
know.
in her cellar. It's been pretty.
That could be great.
That's cool.
Is the storage issue, as long as it's in the
Not
dark,
hers.
there's no cork issue.
Not those 2 bottles there.
Temperature.
Right.
Temperature?
Yeah, temperature.
Yeah. Oh,
the
yeah.
white
I'm
wine.
going to.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Are we going to
And
be
then
there
the
with
sun.
you at this moment?
I think
probably
that's what we're
figure that out.
insisting on right
Yeah.
now. Chuck, I was gonna say Chuck's our
But,
biggest barley wine fan. I know.
last
I'll
time
bring,
I.
I'll bring that 120 Blackfish, right?
Oh, yeah.
You used to have one from 5 years ago?
More, I guess, more than that.
So last time I tried one of the barley wine is called Camp Travis.
What's the story behind that?
That's another. So real quick,
Camp Travis?
Travis.
Travis.
The last time I tried one was probably 3 years ago. It was the last time I saw one and tried it, and it was worse than the one that I had before that. Not bad. It's
So
just
it's going
Mm.
downhill.
it's on the downhill. It has
Okay.
reached its peak and on the downhill.
Okay.
The story behind Camp Travis is my dad's side of the family is the Travis side of the family. And my grandparents' house growing up was on the lake in just outside Nashville, Old Hickory, Tennessee. They had a dock right on the lake, and so you could jump off the dock, you could fish, you go boating, you go kayaking, you go hiking. And so going to Grandma and Grandpa's house was like going to summer camp.
It's a camp.
It was
Camp Travis.
Camp
So-
Travis.
That's
and
really
so
cool.
everyone calls their house Camp Travis, almost no matter where they've lived when they were in Wisconsin, when they were in Nashville.
That's
So
great.
yeah, going to Camp Travis was always a good time, and so that was the name I put on my summer barley wine.
Awesome. So,
It's on Untapped.
It is.
oh, wow.
I found
You
it.
can untap.
Apprentice series, Camp Travis.
Yep.
382. Nice job. There's only 89 ratings.
There you go.
Oh, 49.
There wasn't a lot of bottles.
That's really
49
cool.
ratings, that's pretty good.
That's
Out
really
of,
fun.
Out of 7 barrels,
Did you have to sign each bottle?
I didn't, but I signed a lot of them.
Somebody just pulled out one that was 10 years old. There's a check-in from September 2021.
Oh wow!
That's really cool.
Wow. someone
I know
could
you
say
don't
that.
like pay attention to these
No.
sorts of things, but
What's
it's
the
still
name on it? Just in case I know them. There's only so many bottles.
Johnny G.
Nope, don't know Johnny.
Oh, we got it.
Take it.
Oh, I think we're good. Okay. That's really fun.
Yeah.
Cool. That's
All right,
it. I like that.
So did that wrap up your what is it?
7 birches.
White birch.
White birch.
White birch. So
Seven
no,
birches.
after
Oh, 7
the
birches.
Mark McLaren's place.
after the 6-month apprenticeship, where I had that model ready to go for my resume,
Yep.
they decided to hire me as a sort of part-time assistant brewer and part-time front tasting
Front of house.
room store, not tasting room, store front sort of person. So full-time job split between the two sort of sections.
Right.
And as the days went on and we kind of hired people for the front, I got more into the back.
Yep.
And learned a lot at White Birch and learned a lot specifically from Dave Kilgour, who's now out in Oregon. But
Dave moved out there.
yeah,
He was a brewer.
yeah, he was the head brewer at the time. And then David left. Chris had come in. Chris, I believe, is now at Harpoon, last I knew. But yeah, and did about a year and a half at White Birch. And then my wife and I, well, girlfriend at the time, moved to Nashville. And
Camp Travis.
yeah, close. Well, actually,
So, yeah,
we
so-
lived at Camp Travis for about a month before we found our own spot.
Yeah.
So
So you have relatives down there. Is that why Nashville became the destination?
it's why Nashville was in the choices.
Okay.
Because
You wanted to move somewhere warm, right?
right, somewhere warmer. Well, actually, no. It was between Nashville and Denver.
Denver.
And we went to Nashville. Not really sure. I'm easier to get home. My wife loves country music. Had family there. There's lots of reasons. I have family in Denver as well.
Yeah.
It's hard to go somewhere I don't have family. So,
Good.
so
So you
yeah.
arrive in Nashville, then you
So we
Took a
arrived in
job with,
Nashville. Took a job with Pizza Hut to get some money coming in.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah,
all
gotta
right.
get some money coming in.
Yeah.
And actually gave them my 2 weeks notice on my first day because I interviewed with Pizza Hut. They offered me the job on the spot, so I obviously said yes, and left that interview to go interview with a security company again to get money coming in. And they also offered me the job on the spot, but they paid more.
Yeah.
So I said, well, yeah, I can start in 2 weeks, and they said that sounds great. So I went to Pizza Hut on my first day and gave them my 2 weeks notice. And they said, well, all right, we'll see. Maybe you can stick it out longer. They took me. I couldn't believe it.
So wait a minute, so you're a pizza chef too?
I am, yeah. I worked on the pizza line.
Do you work on a pizza line?
I did.
did you last 2 weeks and leave, or did you stay longer?
No, I stayed my 2 weeks exactly and left. Yeah. And did my security job for about a year and a half while talking to breweries, putting my resume out there, going into the shop, talking to people. I mean, at the time, I think there was 4 breweries in Nashville.
That was my next question. What's the brewery scene?
Yeah.
I'm sure since then it's
Now
changed
it's
a lot,
in the,
but
like,
And this
only
was-
that
and
many
this
in
was
a city.
Yeah, I did 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to all the breweries. I ended up getting a 1 day a week job at Craft Brewed, a local bottle shop selling local craft beer, or not just local, but selling craft beer.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a job there 1 day a week, retail.
Yeah.
Sundays pouring beer when I wasn't doing my third shift security job. And then, I love third shift. And
Did
then,
you?
well, first shift is my favorite, but third over second. Eighth second shift.
So midday, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
So then how'd you get
So
to
at
Black
Craft,
Abbey?
at Craft Brewed, there's a couple connections I had to or not connections, but I made my way in through a couple of avenues. One, I got onto there was only 4 breweries in town, and all of them weren't hiring. So I went into the public records and saw everyone who pulled a brewery permit recently and saw who was in planning. And they all public records, so they all had numbers attached to them or emails, so I started calling people who had pulled brewery permits who were planning and talking to them and saying, what are what are your plans? When are you opening? When do you need help? I'm in town.
That shows someone who really wants to go brew beer.
And one of those places was Black Abbey. Got to talking to them, and they said, well, we're a ways off, but let's stay in contact. So about once a month, me and John or Carl from Black Abbey or all three of us would go out to lunch about once, twice a month. And I'm also working at Craft Brew, selling
1 day a week.
right, craft beer in the area. And then one of the local craft distributors was looking for a driver, and so I applied to that position. And in that interview, he asked me, all right, so I know that you want to brew, and I know that I'm a distributor. So if I hire you today, and tomorrow you get a job offer from the local craft brewery, are you leaving me the next day? I said, no, I'll leave you in 2 weeks. And he said, man, I love how honest that answer is. My buddy Carl is opening a brewery called Black Abbey. And I was like, I've been talking to Carl.
Yeah.
So I already had talked to Carl and John for a while. And then also Kurt, liked my honesty and put in a good word for me as well.
That's really
To
cool.
Carl.
That's awesome.
So then I started working at Black Abbey shortly after they opened, a couple weeks.
And Black
maybe a month.
Abbey, correct me if I'm wrong, was 2 guys. One
Well-
guy was more of a brewer, one guy was more of a marketing person. And
Yeah.
they came together to start this.
Well, so they all met in a homebrew club, 3 of them.
Okay, 3 of them.
I think we're good.
I don't know. I need a pale ale or something. How was your?
That Bobcat, maybe
One
not
more
as hoppy as you want.
No, I
but-
don't want hockey.
Oh, the Bobcat.
Bobcat.
I like crisp, yeah.
Thank you. Never ordered a beer live on the
There
show
you
before.
go.
So I got into the 3 of them met at a homebrew club.
Okay, so they were all interested in homebrew.
Yeah, so they all homebrewed, but one of them is a neurologist, so he went ahead and stayed a neurologist, and then the other 2 were the on-site partners.
One was a geologist, one was a photographer.
Right.
Yeah.
And a pilot neurologist.
Neurologist.
Yeah.
Just neurologist.
Yeah. And so they opened up, and then needed help on the brew
Pause for a
side.
second. I just want to ask: can everybody out there hear Ben? Okay?
Oh,
Does
yeah,
it
my
sound
team
good
on
enough?
the-
I just hope.
No,
I think
mean, you
it's-
have the
No, you have a good
loudspeaker.
voice. I
He
just
does
want to make sure.
have very
that-
clear voice.
Yeah,
so-
everyone hear us? Hear us okay?
Anyway, you can keep going.
Yeah.
She'll get
I do
the
have
right
points. We have a couple of
glitches.
questions from the audience that we'll
Okay.
have to get to. I think
Yeah.
this is important versus the background and the history, but we will
So
have
I
some
get-
questions from the audience when we get there.
Oh,
yeah.
So get into Black Abbey,
Yeah, Lynn says we hear fine.
and then
Sorry, could I get a Starry Night? Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
we
We can hear.
cool. So I get into Black Abbey, on the brewing side, and then just working closely with John, who was the production side owner.
So he was the
and-
production owner, brewer at that time.
Yeah,
So
and so me and him were using the sort of in the field experience I had at a professional brewery, and he had put himself through the Siegel online course, so he had a little more book knowledge, and we just kind of got together and grew the business.
right from the beginning.
Yeah, so I was in there a month or
And,
so.
and what scale did they start at?
It's 20 barrel brew house, opening the doors, 20 barrel brew house, 3 40 barrel fermenters,
Wow.
Wow. So
and then 1 40 barrel.
so
bright.
their business model. So those guys
Production.
must have talked about, we're going to hit this and we're going to distribute. We're going to produce beer and distribute.
Yeah.
That's what they're jumping
Yeah,
in.
Nashville in general, at least specifically at that time, very much was production. Everyone in town was kind of production.
So people were not trying to create a brew pub like this.
Everyone
place.
had not a brew pub. Everyone has a tasting room, and it's changed, since then. But at least at that time, I mean, Blackstone, very big, Yazoo, very big, Jackalope, Tennessee Brew Works. Everyone's in the market. Nashville's also it's not necessarily the easiest city to get around. There's not good public transit. There's not good walkability. There's not.
Yeah,
you got
it's
pockets
It's a
of-
punky downtown. There are like these little pockets of
Yeah.
restaurants and things like that.
And so downtown's
Not
also
very walkable.
a lot of the chain stuff. And actually, Big River was downtown at the time as well. Or Rock Bottom at the
Wow,
time.
so
or Big
these
River,
guys, this is a big jump. They had to have some sort of budget to.
Yeah,
That's why they had a
Biersch
neurologist
owns
on the team.
Big River and Rock Bottom, so it's a franchised. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I know
depending
Rock
on what
Bottom,
city
yeah.
but anyway, yeah, they. So yeah, I get in and we're in. It's John and Carl's recipes from homebrewing, and we're all kind of working together to make the best
Had you-
product we can.
Had you kept homebrewing during these times, or were you real busy with, home front and your
No, I don't
regular
think
jobs?
I did homebrew at the time. I think no, because I sold all my stuff when we moved down.
Okay.
We fit what we could into the back of my pickup and shoved in the back seat of Becky's car, and everything else got either sold or given away.
Wow.
So now you're settled in there, and there's more about that story. But before we go on any further, let's take some questions.
Like an audience question, yeah. One from Lynn. This could be a quicker one, maybe. Your favorite Hermit Woods wine thus far?
So far, my favorite Hermit Woods wine. The Red Scare is very up there,
Matt will be thrilled.
and the 3 Honey Gold is very up there.
Nice. That's actually oh no, it wasn't 3 Honey. Earlier on, Lynn and Matt are drinking Flower Power with their roast chicken tonight.
Okay, nice.
Not, it wasn't 3 Honey, but
Nice.
nice.
Oh, and Wild Blue now. That I've had.
Oh yeah, this new batch of Wild Blue
Yeah.
turned out really nice.
Do you want to do one more?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The other one, Matt is asking, what is the best lesson you've learned so far from Ken?
Best lesson I learned from Ken.
Oh, good question. Good.
I know. Yeah, a couple of great
These are
ones.
thinkers, though.
These
I don't know how to
are-
fill the silence while I think.
Yeah, I know. That's no problem. We can,
So while you're thinking about that, this is a good segue because you're here because Ken, you started thinking about a year ago. We went through a couple assistant winemakers and trying to find people in the classic wine world, and that was challenging.
Well,
so
when we
you
had-
shifted gears.
Yeah, when we finally grew to the point where I needed help producing everything that we were producing,
Right.
and we could afford to go out into the professional world and find someone.
And find someone that really had a background and was, if they wanted to really
didn't-
learn about winemaking. They
Right.
weren't just there to do physical labor. Does that make sense?
No,
Like
it's
they want
it's-
to learn
need
the
one.
skills.
Somebody
I
who-
needed
Yeah.
a professional. I needed
Learn
someone
how to
Yeah.
make wine.
who knew how
Yeah.
to handle barrels, who knew how to stay sterile, who knew how to work pumps
hmm
and that sort of thing. And I reached out to the wine industry and put out ads. And that's when we had Melanie.
hmm
We hired Melanie. She's fantastic, very good at wine production, winemaking.
Yeah, she had
But-
at least a decade?
16 years
16 years of experience.
In
You know,
a
Actually-
150,000
Huge,
case
yeah.
winery.
Yep.
Yeah. But after a year, for her, 16 years of the normal routine of wine production, it's very seasonal based.
Mhm.
In this hemisphere, you harvest your fruit in the fall, you macerate, you ferment, you barrel it down, you rack it, things progress, you get to the point where you're bottling, and then it starts over again.
Yep.
And we put together wines that are kind of like formulating a beer, where we have a few different major components: water and fermentable sugars and fruit. And we're crafting these things all the time. And so everything's in motion all the time. And it's much more like a brewery.
Yeah.
So it dawned on us about a year or two ago, well, let's advertise in both the wine world and the beer world. And that's where we found Noah.
Well, actually, before you actually went to a couple folks before Noah.
Go ahead.
You had that other guy,
Melanie, then Cody.
Melanie,
Cody.
then Cody.
Cody came from the classic wine world,
Cody came from
and he
the wine world.
struggled with the same things Melanie
Same
did.
thing. Yeah. It was the format, the flow was much different. So Noah was the first who came from the beer world. And it was really dawning on me. I was giving those talks at the wine exposition about how I craft our fruit wines, which is different than crafting regular wines. And he fit in much easier. He's like, okay, yeah, no problem, Ken. We've got this going. We've got that going. Things are in production, just like you said in the commercial thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this time when Noah was moving on, I reached immediately right out to the professional brew world at the same time. And you were in a position where you were looking to move up to the Northeast, back home area. And it was like, okay, this is going to be a great fit. Because we make wine like we make beer. So that's the background on that.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
Nice.
Which
really
is
fun.
how you ended up.
Yeah, and I think to the question, I've formed a good thought. At least in a couple of months, the subtle differences between the wine and the beer world, and just learning to trust the process a little bit more for me. Because in the beer world, things happen so rapidly that you can. There's not necessarily time to have a process to trust, other than your SOPs, your practices, staying sanitary and all that. But these products that I'm making now with you guys go into a barrel and sit for 2 years, or
Yeah,
and just
sometimes.
And you've noticed this with the tasting too. Some of it's like, wow, this doesn't
oh wow,
this doesn't really taste like
you
wine,
know,
and then all of a sudden it's like, Ken, this fruit is emerging.
yeah,
Like that plum wine now.
yeah.
It's like, wow, the
Exactly.
fruit's showing up.
Yep. Yeah. It was only a month or so. I tasted it when I first got there, and a couple months later, tasted it again. I was like, I actually started to taste the fruit. Yeah. But just trusting the process a little more, and being comfortable with the fact that it doesn't taste okay right now.
Patience, a little more patience.
So, and beer doesn't taste good right out of the fermenter, but it's only a couple days before it does.
Yeah.
Or not out of the ferment,
But
but
it tastes
out of
a
the kettle.
lot like what's in the final product. I know.
Yeah.
So you taste the wort, you can kind of taste the finished product.
Oh, no, I don't know about
Because
that.
when we were brewing at your house,
Yeah.
last week, that
The wort
when I
off the
tasted
mash time, you can get kind of a picture of the malt profile.
Yeah. And then we
On
tasted
its-
the beer, and I thought it was very similar.
Yeah. On its way to the fermenter after the hops, though, there's a very harsh
Oh yeah.
plant matter flavor.
Yeah.
But that only lasts a couple days before you start tasting off the fermenter, and it starts tasting like the
Oh,
beer
yeah.
it's going to be.
Yeah.
Versus just so maybe a little of patience and trust in the process that this is going to work out. Because in the beer world, almost immediately, oh crap, what happened to this batch?
Right. You said this a couple times where you're like, well, I don't know, but then you go, well, I know it tastes good because I've had the wines,
Yeah.
so I know it's gonna get there. But right now, it's like really weird.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. So when you were driving up from Nashville,
Yeah.
arriving to this place you had no idea about, you'd met Ken and I over the internet,
Yeah.
and so what
And
were
we finally paid those toll bills yesterday. There's a couple of surcharges.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Because we forgot that they existed.
So nonetheless, as you're coming up, what were some of the fears in your mind about you're making this pretty major leap into this new industry in the new place? Were there some things you were kind of worried about, whether you were going to make sense to you or not? I don't know.
No. But that's just
Well, that's kind of a good thing.
yeah. And I think that's more just my personality.
Yeah.
Like the process of
Something
making
new.
a thing, I like immediate. I like cooking at home a lot. I do most of the cooking at the house, and you cook it and it's immediately
Yeah.
good and ready. And beer is very quick and it's good and ready. And this wine, you made something and then you just leave it. I don't know that I
It's
don't
a
think I
weird
could ever
mindset.
move on to distilling. That's too far. I can't age something for
10 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
So then the opposite side of that
But
question.
on the opposite, on the way up, as far as a new venture, ready, excited. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with being at Black Abbey, but just there's a new adventure. My wife and I both just like adventure. We want to be back close to the ocean, and just whether this worked out or not, we're back in an area we wanted to be in.
So then the other question for that is, when you arrived here, what was one of the sort of surprises about that has occurred in your head, like at some point between you got here and today? Was there anything that sort of just went, I didn't expect that? I don't know. Was there like a surprise to that?
Honestly, we were very surprised at how quickly we found a house, given the crazy market. But
That was you guys scored.
You guys scored.
You scored
Um,
huge. Yeah.
And just being away from New England for 10 years, I forgot how there's not traffic. I don't getting used to
The rhythms of
getting back used to the rhythms of the area. It was
That's nice, isn't it?
it maybe not surprising, but it's nice, and it was I had forgotten that and where we were in Tennessee by our own choice. I was an hour commute from work. In 20 minutes. So we're just getting used to having more personal life.
So anything specific about your life at Hermit Woods that surprised you, or that's different than you expected, or
specifically to Hermit Woods?
Like the sort of day-to-day things that he's doing?
In the winemaking side, the tanks are not pressurized. And on the beer side, everything's closed system. You pressurize your tanks, and you use CO2 a lot to push a liquid from one side to the other. And these not being able to pressurize tanks, I think it was like I was 4 days in, and you came in one day and I had
plastered signs
everywhere that said check valves.
Vent the tank.
Vent the tank because it can't hold pressure. So if I have, and not that on the brewing side I wouldn't have, you either need to be adding or taking away pressure depending on what you're doing to the tanks, but just the fact that these tanks can't hold pressure.
Right.
That has been my biggest coming into the wine world side. Figuring it, going from tanks that hold 20, 15 psi to like half a psi is too much. You're going to rupture it. So I think it was 4 days maybe, and I had put signs everywhere. Check the vents. Check the vents.
So you have a family now. So you have your wife. You're now married. You got married in Nashville.
We got married in New Hampshire while we lived in Nashville.
You lived in Nashville.
Yeah, we came back home to have the marriage.
You have a couple kids.
Yes. Yeah,
their ages?
Lucy is about to be 7, and Oliver just hit 18 months.
Have they come into the winery yet?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Lucy's been in a bunch of times.
Oh yeah. Lucy and I looked at a bunch of rocks.
Oh, I missed it. Okay, we gotta bring him again. Bring him again.
Yeah.
Marika wants to meet your kids.
Yeah.
I do want to meet your kids.
Do you want to meet them at night while Becky and I go to a bar?
No.
Okay.
No thanks.
That's good.
Looking for
Nope.
babysitters.
Maybe. Do you trust me to?
Yeah.
I might be able to help you. If you need somebody, I'll be able to help you with that.
I mean,
We could
always looking.
take turns. We'll go together.
I'm not.
I
What
believe
did
he
you-
knows
what did
someone.
you-
I
think I know
I believe he
somebody.
says he knows someone.
I was like, yeah.
Take care of kids. I did not. Okay.
No, okay.
I was like, wow, really?
Kids got grandkids. Maybe.
Not me. I did all that. I'm done with that.
That's fair.
I have grandkids now.
That's true.
No, my stepdaughter Chelsea. I don't know. She used to love it. I don't know if she has any interest now, but she used to love it.
We're always looking.
So carry on with your lineage, your history. So Black Abbey,
So I just started
right
Black
at the
Abbey.
beginning of Black Abbey. So you helped shape and understand and grow and recipes
and we helped each other. I had my knowledge, John had his. We went to CBCs together, or craft brewers conferences together. Went to different classes, brought our knowledge back to each other, and we helped each other learn and grow. They were new to owning a craft brewery, and I was new to Nashville and them, and so we just helped each other grow, and fantastic relationship. Love those guys, and we still stay in contact.
Yeah,
and they're doing great things.
We're gonna get to spend some time with them when we travel together.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to
How
get
is
down.
their summer barbecue? You got a big
No one there really likes Sriracha Ace, so I couldn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You keep saying that, and I keep thinking you're saying sriracha. That you're putting siracha in your beer.
Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Oh,
I don't
I'm
even
sure
know
somebody's
if you
done
can
it.
buy Sriracha Ace anymore. I seem to be the only person who liked it.
I've never heard of it.
I thought it tasted like candied lemons. Apparently, the vast majority of people think that it tastes awful. I don't know what they think it tastes like. Garlic, basement. I don't know.
Oh, we have to
It is
say
funny how
hello.
certain things come out. He sampled a we have a small section of pure rosehip wine.
Mhm.
He's like, Ken, I don't know if this is right or not, but this stuff just tastes like butter popcorn.
Yeah,
just like
Your
pure
rosehip
butter
wine is all
popcorn.
diacetyl.
It's like really weird. I'm like,
I'm
uh oh, maybe something's going wrong here. And I went over and sampled. I'm like, no, this is rosehip wine. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
you're like, it's perfect. Yeah. I was like, oh, well, no. I
It
guess
is-
rosehips aren't for me.
It is funny how perception of flavors is really personal for everyone.
Especially well if you've been trained in a very different sort of tasting environment.
Right.
I would
These
think, yeah,
flavors are not okay.
Ben's going to be picking up on different sorts of flavor profiles from tasting beer than what Ken's
Right.
used to picking up tasting wine,
It's
or
also-
what like we might have gotten from Melanie tasting the
Oh
wine.
yeah, no, it's really
You get
Yeah.
very different
It's
things based on
great.
your training, and the vocabulary that you have from your experience is going to be really
That's
different.
been what's
That's
interesting
exactly
about your relationship with us too, because you came to us more with a beer. You have
A little more of a beer background, but I don't have real professional experience with any of it.
No, but
professional,
you're a
you-
good taster.
you're
I
a
mean,
good
you
taster. You
enjoy
understand
tasting
beer.
beer.
and that was your background before
Yeah.
getting into wine. Your relationship with wine is developed through us.
Yep.
Through your relationship
A little
with
bit
wine.
We have to say hello to Lucy in the audience, having mentioned your daughter.
Oh,
I think Matt's
fantastic.
granddaughter maybe is Lucy. So, hi Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
Lucy's your granddaughter.
No,
Yes.
Lucy's his daughter, and I think
Your daughter.
Matt. I think it's Matt's granddaughter. Maybe is Lucy as well.
Oh.
So he said that we should say hello to his Lucy.
Hopefully,
But-
no granddaughters for a while. For me.
Yeah, I'd say yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
10 years hopefully ish.
Hopefully.
Least.
Yeah, 10 to 20. Yeah, but anyway, okay. So back to Black Abbey. I just had to interrupt with that one.
So I was at Black Abbey for 10 years. There was a lot of
Wow.
growth
Yeah.
that happened there on both ends.
Now they started with 3 double-sized fermenters.
Right.
They
So
must have
we're
grown
brewing
from
20 barrel brew system, 40 barrel fermenters, 1 40 barrel bright tank, and then over the years, by the time I had left, because I don't remember the order that they came in, but we ended up when I left at the original 340s were still there, 2 120 barrel fermenters. That can't be right.
that. No, not
No.
120.
No, they weren't.
Maybe
they were 80.
Maybe 60.
No, they're 80.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Quad batch.
yeah. We
Okay,
brewed
quad
4 times to fill the 80s.
The 80s.
We had a 120 barrel bright tank, so that you could blend. If you brewed the same beer into a 40 and an 80,
So you
we
double quad batched into a bright.
well, we would quad and double, yeah. And so for our flagship Belgian blonde
quad and double.
Rose,
Okay, quad and double.
sometimes to keep up with production, you could have, we would have a couple of 80s going. We had the 2 80s that were almost always staggered with Rose, and sometimes you need to throw a 40 in the mix to keep up with demand. And that 40 could be blended, with the 80,
With the 80.
into
The
a
120.
120 bright. So we had the
That's
3.
a lot of beers.
It's a lot of beer.
It's a lot of beer.
We had the 340 barrel fermenters, the 290 barrel fermenters, but we used them as 80s. The extra 10 barrels for
For headspace.
Krausening and
Yeah.
headspace. And then 560 barrel
This place is big. How many
Big.
states are they in?
Tennessee. Tennessee's a big state, though.
Only state they're in?
Maybe technically Kentucky,
Kentucky doesn't allow drinking, do they?
because of Bowling Green and Clarksville.
Those are not dry.
No, well, there's an Air Force base right there. So via the Air Force base, we might technically be in Kentucky. Or they. But also Nashville, where the beer is made. Davidson County is where Nashville is the same population as New Hampshire.
The entire thing. And when you said that you started when you were there in 2013,
Yeah,
the brew scene was 4 breweries.
right.
You're looking
And
for
now
double 4
it's
breweries. And now
30-ish.
30.
Yeah.
And the population of that area probably.
Yeah, I think
Well,
that
people
the
don't know.
Davidson County is actually now more than New Hampshire.
fermenter.
Raptor's 1.3 million.
Yeah, and Davidson's in that like 1.3 to 1.6 range. The county.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's either 4 or 5 of those 60 barrel fermenters. I want to say 5. And now there's the 40 barrel bright is still there, the 120, and a 60 barrel bright. And at one point in the mix, there was a 20 barrel fermenter that we had for one-off quick batches. And we use a lot for sours as well, just small batch stuff.
So you're mostly putting out all of this beer with all of these big tanks with 2 people. Is that right?
That was my next one. Yeah, had they
Yeah.
expanded staffing wise in the brewery department?
On the production side, there was usually me and my assistant brewer. Well, as we got on in years, right? I mean, this is over 10 years. So we started.
No, in the end, though,
It was me and John.
You and John originally.
Yeah. And then at the end, when I left, me, my assistant Alicia, who has since taken over my position, and she's also a fantastic brewer. Really excited to get back down to Nashville and try
Great.
Black Abbey beers. Now that Alicia, it'll be enough time for
Her to
all of my
really-
stuff to have been gone, and then a third. So 3 of us plus John, when we need him. Were 2 of us on the brew side, 1 on the filter, and then all of us
on the
as
canning.
needed, sort of on the canning or filter, or covering each other for vacations. Enough people that we're all busy, but also everyone can take time off.
Can have a life.
Yeah.
So speaking of a life,
Yeah.
what do you do when you're not making beer or wine?
Drinking beer.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily.
We like being outside. Another kind of big reason that Becky and I moved back. One reason we wanted to move somewhere warmer was we thought we'd be outside more because it's cold here in the winter.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, we moved south and we're inside more because it's so hot in Tennessee. But because the things that we like to do are, hiking, kayaking. When I lived here 10 years ago, I was snowboarding. My snowboard is still in my mom's garage, so
You're gonna join us?
I might dust that off and see how I do
Hit the slopes.
after 10 years and see if it's a good idea for me to get out there or I don't need to be.
It's like riding a snowboard.
Yeah, it's just like riding. But I did the school programs. So whatever it was, 1st through 12th grade, I did the ski program in the winter, and then after high school, picked up snowboarding because me and my buddy Josh at the time had skateboards, and we thought, well,
Yeah.
why don't we try snowboarding?
Yeah. They're not the same.
No, snowboarding was easier, I think.
There's actually, I just saw a new skateboard that's designed to behave like a snowboard.
Oh, with all the wheels?
Yeah,
The
the set of wheels in the middle.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are fun.
You've ridden one.
Yeah, probably 10 years ago.
Oh, the like hoverboardy things? Do they?
Oh, well,
that
this
thing?
thing, it was like a Kickstarter project.
Maybe they're making
They're-
it. Yeah, I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
they're
There's-
different.
I've ridden one that had 3 wheels, so skateboard a little bit longer, had your almost normal trucks with your 2 wheels on the front, 2 wheels on the back, but then there was a 3rd wheel on each truck on a swivel on a caster, so that you could lean to one side and have a gripped wheel and a caster wheel. But then I've also ridden one where there's almost a U-bolt on the front and the back of the board and like 8 wheels or something per U-bolt, so that no matter where you roll, you're always on a wheel.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun. Or 8. But I'd love to see the Kickstarter one. It's a very cool concept. It's very
It looks
terrifying to feel like you're on a snowboard while you're on pavement, because the pavement is not as forgiving.
No.
Well, my daughter had a board that had wheels about this big,
Yeah, I
on
almost killed
either
myself.
side, riding down my dirt road,
Oh yeah, the mountain boarding.
mountain boards.
Yeah, absolutely. Also,
And I both my
dirt
wife
is
and I
not
were
very-
quite scared when she was going down there to high school with
Yeah.
her friends, and
I
they're all
mountain
at their
boarded
ride.
2 or 3 times, and same thing. The dirt is not as forgiving as snow.
No, there's plenty of rocks to stop the
Yeah.
wheels.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'll keep my boards to any form of H2O.
So do the kids like the snow?
Lucy so far loves it. Oliver hates it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we bundle him up. He's warm. We're not like subjecting this 2-year-old to harsh conditions. We're bundling him, and he's just not having it.
Aw.
He said, "Why are we out in this? What is going
What's
on?
the point? Yeah.
Why? Yeah, wet.
He
and
sounds like a
terrible."
very outgoing
Yeah.
kid, though. So I bet within a year, when he's 2.5, I bet, come on, let's go out. Let's throw stuff and roll around.
Or he might just be a summer kid. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's too early to judge. I mean, at 2, he's probably not terribly developed in his judgment skills
Yeah.
and evaluation properties, and a whole lot of the brain isn't even formed yet. So,
Really?
yeah, so he'll be, I think, a motorcycle.
He's like 18 months
He
old.
knows,
right
yeah.
now.
Motorcycle, skiing, outdoor junkie by the time he's 6. That's
Right.
Oh, he is certainly the daredevil of the two.
Oh, yeah.
Lucy's very thoughtful about everything she does, and she
That's-
loves art
Lucy's a
and to
female.
draw.
They think a lot.
And she
It's
she's got her guitar, and she loves music. She loves to make music and art and draw. And Oliver is on the back of the couch stage diving. Like he's just like I don't think Lucy would ever think like, oh, look at this tall thing. I should see what it feels like to be on top of it. Yeah. And
It's like
Oliver
Lonan and
is
Edelman.
like, why am I
Same
not
thing.
hanging from the ceiling fan, or why am I on the floor? This is ridiculous. I need to get up.
It's a world to discover. Up
Yeah. So and he's we got
Did you
him
ever
a
ride a
baby
ceiling
rocking
fan?
chair.
No. You did?
No, it was too big when I
I was
finally
gonna
thought
say,
about
I
it,
don't
but it
think
just
they're-
wouldn't
they
work.
I
would
rode
support-
flagpoles.
Yeah, you rode flagpoles.
Yeah.
Any questions from our
Yeah,
audience?
We
there's
don't have
a lot
any.
of- A lot of comments out there.
No. Well, Gary came in late. We were all saying hi, but we don't have any more questions for Ben. He's leaving anyway. He's
Yes,
done.
Ben's leaving.
Yeah.
So what do we
Well, we've been sitting here drinking beers.
That's
so,
true.
you know.
here? And
That was good. I liked this one a lot. I at the beginning I ordered a smaller one thinking that way I can have 2, but then they ended up bringing me the bigger one anyway,
Right.
and so I'm just gonna have the one I think.
So, what do you guys think of Backyard?
I loved it. I think this is actually
Glass is almost empty.
this
Let's be
beer is
good.
what
Cheers.
I've hoped to get a few other times with other sort of winter seasonal sours that I've had other places put out, and this is I think what I've always hoped those ones would be. Sort of
Wow.
So you know what I recommend for winter sours
Mhm.
is the Stone-Faced Dark Sours.
Okay.
And in fact, this Friday, Dan from Stoneface is coming by our shop again to see how our wine is doing in
Oh,
his
nice.
barrels. And he's
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
I'll
be
talk to
releasing
him.
some dark
Is
sours.
it's Dan, right?
Dan, yeah.
So that actually brings me up something I wanted to mention before we go.
Oh,
Sort
the
of-
Pontoc.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we're down to our last 5 to 10 minutes anyway. So a few things upcoming. In a couple weeks, we have 2 of the biggest events in Meredith are happening for winter anyway.
We hope, anyway.
That's true. It's I
Oh,
don't know.
they're
Then
gonna happen.
it's gonna
They'll
be
happen.
it's gonna be
They
a
will
cold
happen.
next couple of weeks. We just got a ton of snow, so hopefully. But anyway, assuming the lakes froze over enough, we'll have pond hockey the first weekend in February, and then the ice fishing derby the second weekend in February. And for both of those events, every year we always grill some brats out on the deck and invite local breweries to give samples. And I don't know about yours. I've only been around to the past 3 of them,
Yeah,
but
maybe 3 now.
this year, as of now, we have at least 4 breweries each weekend, and we might be up to 5 for the second.
Wow.
Really, Marika?
So-
Well
Be
done,
putting some word out
Marika.
there.
So I'm really excited
Alright.
for that. So you should definitely mark your calendars for those next couple
So
Saturdays.
Hermit Woods is going to be the place to be during these
Yeah,
events
so
for sampling beers.
If I have it right, the first weekend, or we have Concord Craft both weekends, Twin Barns both weekends, and then we also will have, on the first weekend, I think we have also Reckless and Stoneface, maybe? And the second weekend, we also have Henniker and Moat.
Oh yeah, got both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's great.
those are
What
those
a
are confirmed,
great
and
lineup, Marika.
yeah, we might
Well
have some
done.
You
others.
better get the word out.
Exactly. So spread the word.
There it
folks,
is. Send
but-
Put the word out,
So
everybody.
You're suggesting that people come to Hermit Woods Winery
To drink beer
To drink beer.
and have sausages.
Or both.
Well done.
or both.
Well done.
But we have some great New Hampshire brewers coming to pay us a visit to give samples, and then we'll be grilling out on the deck as per
So
usual.
we're not doing brats this year, right?
No, we're doing
not?
Italian sausage instead.
Oh,
But
love it.
grilled meats and buns on the
Well,
deck.
it's
With
Italian
green- with
sausage
green- with green-
onions
with
and
green
peppers.
Peppers and onions,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, they
Just
did
as good of a
that.
pairing with
Yeah.
beer.
Travis came up with this. He wants to do Italian sausage.
Yeah.
So we're gonna grill the same thing, grilled out on the deck. Yeah.
I'm hoping it's cold from now until then, but I'm hoping that
I
day
hope it's not
is
cold on that day.
well, on that day we're hoping it's a nice, warm, calm day, and then we'll be able to set out on the deck, and yeah, people can sample out there.
Well,
And
everybody will be coming in from being all dressed up for the cold as they usually do.
yeah,
It was
Just
like
a
it was
word.
like some of the places in Switzerland.
Yeah, we
In
would sit
France
out
where
on
we
the
were
deck.
skiing.
yeah,
You
it's
come
fun
in
to
from
be
the
outside.
slopes, and everybody's got all their clothes on. So a lot of people you just sit outside
Yeah.
on picnic
Yeah.
tables, drinking beers,
Yeah, on a sunny,
and
calm day,
hanging
it's
out.
nice. Yeah.
'cause you're fully dressed for it.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
totally fine.
So
But
for-
I'm saying, so it's Dan is the one that's coming up from Stoneface
Yeah, Dan
to
is
pour
the head
that day.
brewer at
So
Stoneface. Yeah.
that'll be fun to
oh,
have
the
him
head
there.
brewer of Stoneface
Head-
will be
yep.
pouring their beer at Hermit Woods.
Oh, Dan's gonna be pouring.
It's Dan, yeah.
We need to
Oh. That's
put
what they
that
said
out
today.
there.
Yeah.
We need to let everybody know.
And
That's
well,
a-
and I think
that's a big
Reckless,
deal.
it's the owner
The
Marlena
owner's coming down.
from Reckless.
Awesome.
Yep, that's also the first weekend. So
She's
we
coming
gotta,
to pour.
We got to get this out.
This is great.
yeah,
That's awesome. So
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 Good.
that's the first weekend of February is,
Yep.
pond hockey, which
Yep.
is likely going to be held at Waukee.
yeah,
I read from the owner. He said he would like to still go onto the lake, but there is a cutoff point. If it's not frozen by a certain point, he's gonna
yeah.
back it. So he's said he's probably going to be on Waukee One this
But
year.
he's still in
It
town.
doesn't matter. Be in town. You still
And we're
need a
there.
place to,
Still a
to
short-
find good
Yeah.
beer.
Short
So
distance from us.
and then it's the fishing derby, which will go on no matter what, because you can fish at any pond for the fishing derby. It's
Oh,
centered around Meredith Bay because that's where their
That's where the
offices,
judging
the headquarters
is. That's
are,
where the
and that's where the headquarters will be. But you can bring fish in from any lake in New Hampshire.
Travis was all,
Can you
Uh,
fish by boat?
or from shore.
Sure.
Travis
I think it's called
Travis
an
was
ice
all
fishing
grumpy.
derby, so I don't think so.
Um,
Why not if there's no ice?
I don't think you can. I think it's illegal.
well,
If you had a gin and tonic
Oh.
when you caught the fish.
That would count.
Well, you go talk
You
to
can bring
them
that by.
and
Yeah.
Let us know.
Travis
Bring gin and bring gin and
Travis was
tonics
saying,
with you when you go to talk to them.
Travis was talking about it last night. He was so bitter that the guy that won last year fished from shore, and he didn't think that should
You
count.
can fish from shore then
I think that's what Travis said. That's
with a gin
the
and tonic.
guy that, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Fish from
Wow.
Sounds like a better way. I'll be fishing down on the bay rather than.
You put your kayak in.
Yeah, put my kayak in.
You get a long enough line from that patio.
Yeah.
You could use your
Work
drone.
on your
You could
casting.
use your drone to bring the hook on the line and drop it right where you want, and then sit back.
Yeah.
I think we've got a new
Put a
sport.
pulley on the
Drone
drone
fishing.
so that your
Yeah,
line
yeah.
doesn't hang across the road.
Right. So we should let everybody know too. We got movie night tomorrow night. Right?
That we do, yes.
Adrift.
Movie night is Adrift. I hadn't
Oh,
heard
wow.
the movie before you mentioned it, but since then I've looked at the trailer. Some other people have talked about
I've
it.
never seen
It's going to be a fun. It's based on a true story of a young couple that is on a sailboat in the Pacific and gets hit by a massive hurricane,
Yeah.
and they end up having to drift and make it to land
the
somehow.
I've seen it.
Adrift.
Oh,
Adrift.
I see.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty intense.
Yeah, it looks
So
quite
Adrift,
dramatic, but good.
movie
Yeah,
night.
tomorrow night, free popcorn, free admission. Come hang
Well,
out.
the popcorn is donation based.
Yes, we do have
It
donations
is-
for the
you can
Interlake
take
Summer
it for free
Theater.
if you want, but we would like donations for the Interlake Summer
Yes.
Who?
The Interlake Summer Theater. So kind of
Interlake
supporting the
Summer
arts.
Theater gets
We-
all the popcorn
we-
proceeds.
Yep, correct.
Yes.
Not for us. It's for our community.
Yeah,
That's the goal.
for the arts community. Yep. So that's
The
this week, and then movie nights every other week on Tuesdays, and then of course we have our loft shows on the alternating
You know what's also
Weeks.
exciting?
What?
We have a folk show coming to the winery.
Oh, I've been hearing tell of these.
What?
I've been overhearing these meetings.
So Katie, who
Oh
plays
yes,
for
she's
us,
going to start. Right?
starting February 22nd.
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna
soon.
have- and it's going to be the I think we decided the last Thursday or the last Wednesday of every
Starting on-
month will be a folk show.
Cool. That's
And
great.
we have 4 of them lined up. We have 8 artists
Oh wow,
coming along with Katie to play.
that's fantastic.
So is Katie Dobbins going to be at each one
Yeah,
of them?
she's gonna be
And
the
then
host.
She's going to be the host.
So in a talk
Yeah.
show format, it will be. We're going to try and go live with it if we can. So it'll be live.
Good.
The internet. If you can't make it, you can watch on the
Wolfgang
internet.
might be able to help us set up the.
Yeah, hopefully
video for that.
Wolfgang will help us set it up. And then
He's sleeping right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's really
Live.
exciting, Bob. It's a different vibe, different type of music.
So we've got our work cut out in the next week or so to get all
Yeah.
the word out about these exciting new events.
Yeah.
There's
Gosh.
a lot going on.
There's a
every
lot
week,
going
so-
There's always,
Yeah.
there's always, yeah.
Well, you're only allowed to tell anything about this stuff on the town crier on the 15th.
Yeah. So yeah, we're at our
We're
6:30.
past that.
Oh,
We're at 6:30, so we're wrapping up,
We're
and of course,
wrapping
yeah, we will see many of you folks on Friday for our
Oh,
Club party.
Friday, 27th.
Can't wait
Oh
to
my
see you all.
goodness, that's
That's
this
our
Friday.
big party. We
Yep.
have a nice.
So
Oh,
club
I
members
think
will
we-
see you on Friday. Had to reschedule, but a bunch of folks. But
We're pulling out some library wines for that.
And we have a piano player that's outstanding, Michael. Forget his last name. He's played at the winery a few times. He's
Nice.
also played with the symphony orchestra, the Lake Sweden Symphony, and is a great musician. So it's gonna be a really great party.
will Ben be around at the club party to meet everyone that they
Are you
just
gonna be at the party?
Friday
You're saying
night?
this is this Friday?
Yeah.
Probably not.
That's okay.
You gave
Yeah,
him-
You find a
come
dance
in, come in
Yeah.
another time.
We
You'll
didn't
you'll
give him
catch
any
Ben.
warning on that.
That's
you know.
true. But yeah, we hope that you folks can stop by the winery anytime, whether for these events
Here
or
I am,
just
out
day to
for
day.
this month.
That's right.
Ben's around. Ask if he's around. We'll bring him up from the basement.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you come into the winery and you want to meet Ben, he's there during the day.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you'd be happy to say hello.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly.
Oh yeah.
If I'm in the area,
Yeah.
I love saying hello. I love meeting people. Love saying hi.
Fantastic. Great. Well, I'm out of beer. I think the show's over.
The show's over. You're out of beer.
Thanks, all.
Hey, cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
We'll see you next
Cheers.
Monday. We'll have something for you. I don't know what yet. Rika's got some good ideas though. So.
Right.
Cheers.
We're gonna hear about Switzerland,
Um.
right?